Oh, hey there, you tushy touchers. It's your boy, Kevin Gootee. So, well, surprise, it's time for another fantastic episode of Gutting the Sacred Cow, the best movie review / movie debate podcast out there. You know who's a fantastic gutter? Mike Price. Why? Well, he's back every so often. You should know why I love him. He picks great films, he makes great arguments, and he's funny. Oh, yeah, this episode, he has chosen one. I guarantee it's going to rankle a lot of you. Dead Poets Society. That's right. Everyone loves to say, oh, Captain, my Captain, but did you forget everything else in between? Is it worth it? Mike Price doesn't think so. Joining me as guest host, oh, you know him, you love him. I know it's me, but besides me, it's Kevin Israel. Let's see if Mike Price can truly sink Dead Poets Society.
Hanging around, kids got alligator blood. Guest host Kevin Israel. This is becoming a reoccurrence people like to see.
Well, I need to stay on brand, so.
What film is that from?
I have no idea. It doesn't even like tickle a memory, so I have no idea.
My favorite writer from The Simpsons, Mike Price, rejoins us. And Mike Price, you're very good with these quotes. How about that quote? Hanging around, kids got alligator blood.
I'm going to say the alligator kid. I don't know.
Well, this is a very obvious one if I do it in the accent. Hanging around. Kids got alligator blood. Yeah.
Rounders.
I thought you'd get that one.
Oh, I've never seen Rounders.
Check. Rounders
That's a new one for me.
Rounders is a great movie.
No,
Mike Price.
I love playing cards and poker.
The worst Russian accent ever done.
Yeah, but a sweet tracksuit.
But it's the Russian accent we all do.
Oh, it's Mike Price. You're missing an absolute beauty. Actually, I saw that in the theater as well in college. As we were
Nice.
our pre-tape top. Oh, it's a great. Kevin Gootee, Kevin Israel, Mike Price, our pal, is back. Mike has chosen a film. This is going to piss a lot of you folks off because I think a little bit Ralph and David, the producer, jumped on this one. Say Anything a few weeks ago. Mike has chosen 1989. I see a thread here. Dead Poets Society. Wowie zowie. 1989, as I argue, the best year for film in the history of this fine country.
Wow.
Fight me on that. Look up the research, and then you'll say, Goatee's right again.
I would say 1939.
I'm not going to give that Gone with the Wind.
Beef with you.
Gone with the Wind, not that good.
Wizard of Oz.
Good.
Stagecoach. All right, go on.
Did not see Stagecoach.
All right.
How about Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the aforementioned? Batman.
That's good.
Major
Batman. I saw all those in New York City, in big theaters in New York City.
Major League.
Sure, good.
That's 3 right there.
You're selling me on this Goatee.
Nightmare on Elm Street 5. Just kidding.
Doc Hollywood? No, it's probably
that was 91 actually.
Doc Hollywood has a great nudity scene in the very beginning.
Never saw that.
Lawnmower Man.
We'll just watch the first 8 minutes.
Man. You guys forget about a little film called Blue Steel with Jamie Lee Curtis? No, I'm just kidding.
All right.
Mike's chosen
Back to the Future 2.
It was in 1989. I love Back to the Future 2. I can argue it's better than the first. 1989 budget of $16.4 million, a box office haul of $235.9 million. I was floored it made that much money. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Was this a Captain American movie? That's insane.
And you ready? And I looked, I forgot exactly when, but I remember saying that was released in the summertime. Again, oh, you know what else came out too? But it sucked. Ghostbusters 2, another blockbuster.
Yeah.
Was that purely on just the power of Robin Williams? Because it's not like this book wasn't this hugely read book or anything.
Right.
No, I think it was an original screenplay. It wasn't even a book.
It was a book. No, this was a book.
It was a book.
The guy won the Oscar for best original screenplay.
It was a book. I'm telling you, Mike. 2023.
You keep talking. I'm going to look it up.
All right. You can stop me when I'm wrong. 2023 money. 2023 money, $48 million budget, $572.3 million. $500 million in today's money for this. That blows me away. Israel's as shocked as I am.
I'm honestly, I just can't explain why that movie would have done so well. Like,
I don't know.
What was the marketing like? Watch Robin Williams, suck Robin Williams.
Yeah, really. Really? I don't know. You've never seen prep like this. All right. According to Wikipedia, the original script was written by Tom Schulman based on his own experiences at the Montgomery Bell Academy in Nashville, Tennessee. So it's not a book. It's not based on a book.
Oops.
I could have swore it was.
I did too. Back to my argument.
I swear to you, every other movie like this was based on some book. There was a movie called The Separate Piece, based on a book called The Separate Piece that I had to read in high school.
I read that. Yep.
I did too.
School. Anyway.
Back to my 1989 argument. Of course, Weekend at Bernie's, Uncle Buck, When Harry Met Sally, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, not really. And of course, who could forget the James Bond classic License to Kill, and of course, K-9 with Jim Belushi. Oh, and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and one of my all-time favorites, Lethal Weapon 2. Half of those were said in jest. Half of those were dead serious. Back to
Weapon 2.
I love it. That one. It is better than the first one. Ready?
Is that where the guy keeps saying diplomatic immunity?
Yes, it is. Love it. It's Joe Pesci. It's high comedy.
Right. Yeah, Joe Pesci was good at that. Yeah.
IMDb, fellows, you know the drill. 1 to 10 with decimal points. Mike, IMDb scored Dead Poet Society. Lay it on me, pal.
You know, I saw it the other day, but I forget it. But I'm going to say like a 8.2.
How about you, Kevin Israel?
Real quick, there was a novelization version of the movie that went on to be pretty popular, which is why.
There you go. All right.
Anyhow, IMDb 9.1.
Mike is damn near done. That's on 8.1.
Oh, okay.
Look at you. Israel, Rotten Tomatoes critic score 1 through 100. Go.
87.
Mike.
78.
84.
Oh, all right. Audience
score, Mike.
Same percentage, you mean?
Yes, sorry.
89.
KI.
The year we came out.
KI. What do you got, buddy?
I would have gone with that. I'll go 90.
92.
Wow.
Quotes. I'll get it out of the way for you boys. Oh, Captain, my Captain. And that's it. This film is not quotable one bit. Why don't you boys fight over the scraps for the next one? Or is it one's?
Well, I will say I was doing some reading about this after I rewatched it again over the weekend. And one of the lines from it, like Carpe Diem, seize the day, made some list of like AFI's 100 greatest movie quotes. I was like, what the ever living?
Well, Mike, someone just stole fun fact number 4.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Unbeknownst to you. No need for apologies.
I have actually referenced in my day-to-day life a barbaric yelp. So that for some reason that always stuck with me.
Please tell me you use that barbaric yelp in a courtroom argument as a lawyer.
Yes. I said, Your Honor, I shall now yarp like a barbarian.
And what did Judge Wapner say when you did that in his courtroom?
I'm fighting you in contempt. But also there actually you can't save Keating, but you can save yourself. I thought that was a good quote.
Hey, speaking of contempt for court, since you're the lawyer, what happens if you are in contempt? Does that mean you actually spend the night in jail, or you just fined?
It's kind of up to the judge. You can, or you can get fined. It's up to the judge.
What's the fine usually go for? Ballpark.
I wouldn't know. It's not. I mean, it's not bankrupting. It's probably $500.
Oh, and what does one have to do to get contempt? Use racial slurs while addressing the judge. I mean, it's got to be a lot. It's got to be a lot.
Yeah, if you do that, you're spending the night in the clink.
Okay.
But if you just keep pushing, if the judge overrules you, issues some kind of order, and you don't obey it repeatedly. It's basically what you see in the movies.
Okay. All right. That's good to know, because that did happen, as we know.
But it doesn't happen nearly as often as the movies would have you believe.
Yeah, you think that in Law 101 you're going to get the Al Pacino and Justice for All. I'm out of order. You're out of order. The whole damn system is out of order.
Kevin, how often have you been in a court where the judge bangs his gavel so much that the little thing goes flying
away?
Yeah.
Those are nailed down.
Oh man, another thing we've learned Hollywood lied to us about.
Another movie trope debunked. Oh God, we could do another hour and a half on this. Five fun facts. Oh, there's a lot of them on this one I love. In Sirius XM in 2016, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck auditioned for unspecified roles. Surprise. After Canoe, K-N-E-W, I'll assume, directed, Dustin Hoffman was signed on to direct as well as play the role of Keating, but there were scheduling conflicts and arguments about the date. Here's Dustin Hoffman. Carpe diem, seize the day. That's a shitty Dustin Hoffman. I'm gonna hang that up. Thank you. Finally, the studio gave the movie to six-time Oscar nominee Peter Weir. Yeah, nice way to close the deal, Peter. Six-time loser, right? Who had found success with Revenge of the Nerds. Wow. What you talk about a
No. The other guy was Revenge of the Nerds.
Yes.
The guy Canoe, whatever, was Revenge of the Nerds.
Yes, correct. Excuse me. Before Peter Weir came along, Canoe who had found success with Revenge of the Nerds, was set to direct. Canoe wanted, I want you to guess, but you'll be here all day, wanted Liam Neeson to play Keating.
Wow.
Back then, what was he?
Yeah, he was barely in anything then.
I mean, he was in like Darkman.
I was just going to say Darkman was it. And wasn't he in the
movie,
Deadpool, the Dirty Harry one, right?
He might have been in that. He was in first time I ever saw him was in this movie with Cher, where Cher played a lawyer, and he was this deaf mute guy, like a homeless guy who was accused of murder, and he was like a homeless Liam Neeson.
Schindler's List.
Movie. No, I forgot what it was called, like The Accused or something, but it was a courtroom movie where he was this guy accused of murder, but he was like a homeless deaf mute guy.
What dickhead casting member said, you know what I could see as a role as a lawyer? Cher. Fuck out of here.
Oscar winner.
Yeah. Okay, next, for his part, though, so the studio, though, wanted Robin Williams, hence why Liam Neeson not in. For his part, Williams seemed reluctant to work with Canoe, which led to a disastrously botched first day of shooting, according to Shulman, because he didn't show up.
Wow. Well, Robin Williams didn't show up. Wow.
The movie, number 2. The movie is faithful to Shulman's screenplay, except for a scene in which the boys discover that Keating has Hodgkin's disease. The scene was intended to show why Keating is so intent on seizing the day, but thought the movie was stronger without it.
Disagree.
Disagree, too.
Because it's like, he's just, we'll get into that, but like, his character is like a nothing. He's just this guy who says things and then goes home. Like, he has a girlfriend living in London or something. That's all you know about him. But like, anyway.
It's like they cut the picture of the magazine out and put it in the frame and said, yeah, I have a girlfriend. She's in London, see? Get this. Get this for number 3. This one completely demolished my mind. Do you know Dead Poet Society outgrossed these two films, also 1989, The Little Mermaid and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
It's
Those
absurd.
two are juggernauts.
Wow.
Absurd.
Picking up Touchstone's first Oscar nomination for Best Picture. I'm floored it outgrossed The Little Mermaid.
Daddy, I want to see Little Mermaid.
Trying to
Shut
remember. I know you're gonna see this and you'll like it. I'm trying to remember. Like, I was alive then, so like people just went to the movie. I guess there was TV to watch, but it wasn't like, if that movie was made today, it would maybe be on Netflix and show up like for a second on Netflix. Like, people don't go to those, pay money to see those kind of movies anymore.
But even with just the idleness of the amount of people that would go see a movie just because that's all there was to do at that time, to make that much, like if you told me it made $80 million, I still would have been like, wow, that's impressive. $200 million, that's a phenomenon.
Yeah, I guess people really did like Robin Williams. He had just come off Good Morning Vietnam, I think was the movie right before that.
He was.
So that was
Awakenings was after that. Yeah, Awakenings was after that.
Yeah.
Club Paradise, Moscow on the Hudson, and a few years removed from Popeye, which I've never seen and I don't plan on. Oh, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. Yeah.
Popeyes was a movie that was a great portrayal of a character in a terrible movie.
Never saw it. Don't plan it because I heard it's not good.
It's not one of Robert Altman's must-see movies. I will say that.
No. But it is cool seeing Robin Williams play Popeye because he does a really
Yeah.
good job.
Yeah.
And with your favorite actress in it too, Shelley Duvall there, Kevin Israel. Did she squeal? Did she squeal every 3 seconds in this film? As she
I
did
gotta
in
admit though,
Shining?
she
She
pulls
did.
off.
She's playing
They
olive
did
oil.
the casting of the movie was amazing. Everybody looked and sounded exactly like the cartoon, but then there was just no movie, and the music was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Number 4, the aforementioned Mike Price line. This is number 95 out of the American Film Institute's top 100. If this does not solidify my argument that the AFI is completely out of touch, I want you to go to Camp Lejeune and chug 2 gallons of water right now.
Have you been sending me those emails, you son of a bitch?
Who in their right goddamn minds is dropping this at the water cooler, at a barbecue, at the tailgate with the boys? No one. Stop it.
But also, if you just say "carpe diem," which is a phrase,
Ubiquitous.
you're not necessarily quoting this movie. Like,
Yeah, right.
Like this
Yeah,
movie
I know.
can't claim every time somebody said "carpe diem." Well, that's Dead Poet Society.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe if you lean in your friend's ears and whisper to them, then it counts. You know, a little film also in 1989 did a lot better. And they said, if you build it, he will come. And that's, of course, Field of Dreams.
Oh, Field of Dreams, sure. That was a good year for me. All right, I'm starting
That's
to come around.
see,
to
Mike?
1989.
I told you. Number
And
5.
you can say that in your friend's ear when you're standing behind him.
And of course, he also says go the distance, which you know what that means. Grab Assery is up for play. Number 5, Matt Carey, the actor who portrays Hopkins, who the remembers the guys' names in these films, delivers the line, "The cat sat on a mat, was a St. Andrews student at the time, and, surprise, he earned more than his teachers that year for saying that one line."
That's
Right. He has one line, like they're all being told to make up a poem, and he says it as a fuck you to Robin Williams.
Right.
And then at the very end, he's one of the guys who like is there
Stands on his
for him,
desk,
you
yeah.
know? Yeah.
How cute. Well, let's let the fans get on the fun, boys, as we, of course, go to Ask a Gutter. At Ed Dwyer, why does Hollywood keep making these, quote, savior teacher movies with the teacher that does things in some unorthodox fashion when 99.9% of us never had a teacher that did anything like these movies?
You're right, Ed. I don't know.
You know what? I'll disagree with that on this much. We all have a teacher that we do remember who did something. I had an English teacher who was awesome, who actually really turned me on to reading books and getting into that. So I think, yeah, most teachers are not this great savior, but I think everybody has some teacher that they go, I remember Mr. Shea. He was a good guy.
Well, you know, this obviously
true.
spawned and inspired Dangerous Minds, as well as Finding Forrester, and I think Stand and Deliver was 88.
Yeah.
So this was after the
Right.
fact.
And then before that, like 20 years before this, was To Sir with Love. That was maybe the original
Yeah.
with Sidney
Sure.
Poitier. But
Poitier.
yeah, I don't know. There's not too many movies about shitty teachers that uninspire people. There should be more of those.
Did you all not see the parody High School High starring John
Oh,
Lovitz?
John Lovitz, right? Yeah, I know.
Ugh,
I can see.
I saw it in the theater. I stole my $8
I just remember
back.
I just remember the one joke about the kid that had dreadlocks and the little cars were racing around the not dreadlocks, cornrows. Sorry.
maybe
Yeah.
I'm due for a rewatch. I don't know.
Yeah.
At Matt Carangel, as we've known him fondly as Mitch from Mendham. Oh, Captain, my Captain, please dump vigorously and viciously on that pretentious snooze fest. But he does have a question, and I love it. How much better would this movie be if they had let Robin Williams inhale Caddyshack levels of cocaine?
Who's to say he wasn't?
He was definitely on the low end of his intake at that point.
Which actually is funny because he was going through a divorce, which is also why he was in a foul mood in this movie.
Oh, I see.
Oh, Captain. Oh,
Well,
Captain, my
that's part of
Captain.
that's one of my points I'll talk about later. Is like, if you're gonna have Robin Williams, then let him fucking be Robin Williams. Like, he only has one scene where he does that stuff, and it's pretty terrible because he's half-assing it. So
Yeah, the John Wayne impression.
yeah.
I had to Google, when did this film take place, and when did Marlon Brando and Wayne make films? Because we're dangerously close to that didn't happen, but it did.
Yeah,
It's 59, right?
Yeah.
59. It took place. Yeah.
At next one, at Joe Loves Chem, Is Robert Sean Leonard, by the way, never go with three names. You look like a goddamn serial killer. Is Robert Sean Leonard not more famous because he and Tom Everett Scott, another one? Or would you be surprised if these guys walk into a Walmart or a bank and start opening fire with those names like that? Jesus Christ. Is Robert Sean Lennon not more famous because he and Tom Everett Scott cancel each other out? Are they the same person?
They're not the same person, but they could very well be.
Yeah.
Robert Sean Leonard went on to have a pretty good career. He was on House all those years, and he's done okay. Yeah.
What are you, his agent, Mike? Jesus, you're defending him.
I am. Bobby. Hey, Bobby, I'm just talking about you. These guys.
I got you
Bobby.
opening a car dealership in Van Nuys next to the wonderful, wacky, wavy inflatable guy. It pays $500. My cut's 10%. So we'll see you there on Saturday, too.
Yeah.
Next, at Lord Snurts. I haven't seen it, but so far, I've agreed with Mike's tastes. Also, Robin Williams movies are hit in this, excuse me. So his question is this. It's 1960. After John Keating is fired, he moves to South Beach and starts performing at the Birdcage Club. What's his drag name, and what song does he perform for the finale?
Oh, man, that's a good question.
Snurts kills these questions. Kills them.
His drag name is Poetry Pam. I don't know. And his song, God, I don't know. I Will Survive.
That's a typical knee-jerk reaction to a drag queen. Mike, I expect better from you. You're right for the Simpsons, for Christ's sakes. Let's see here. Next question, at Bango2331. OMG, I hated that movie. It's so goddamn corny. Only thing I would have saved it is if when that kid jumped up and yelled, "Oh, Captain, my Captain," Robin Williams told him to sit down and shut the fuck up.
That would have been good. There was a really funny SNL sketch based on that. I don't know if you saw it in the last 3 or 4 seasons ago, where it was basically that scene where they all get up on the desks to do that, and they all get decapitated by ceiling fans. It was really good. It was really funny.
Let me double check here, see if that's going to do it for Ask a Gutter. Come on, fellas, where are you hiding here? Oh, here we go. Where does Walt Whitman rank? Oh, this is Rex Crumb, excuse me. Where does Walt Whitman rank on the list of 19th century American writers that everyone knows only because they were forced to read them for a high school class? Whitman, Edgar Allan Poe, Herman Melville, they all have to be at the table. So where does Whitman rank on that list? Because people know
super top. I'd say.
Top.
And like the only thing they know of him is that "Oh, Captain, my Captain," probably, maybe from watching this movie. Although I'd say if you watch Breaking Bad, you might know a lot more about Walt Whitman now because there's a lot of Walt Whitman stuff in Breaking Bad.
Wasn't that the book he was reading on the toilet where Hank found it and then realized, oh shit, that's Walter White. God damn, that's the greatest show ever made. Still, not gonna hear any arguments otherwise. That's gonna close Ask a Gutter. Hey, and for everybody, no one listens to the end of podcasts, so let's get those quotes out now. Let's get those plugs out now. Mike Price, The Simpsons. Anything else besides that you're working on, or what else would you shout out?
No, that's it. The Simpsons, we're in the middle of season 34 right now, unbelievably.
Sure.
We're about to end the season very strongly in a couple of weeks with a big episode with the guest star is the amazing Lizzo. Just keep. I'm at the Simpsons office right now. We're working on writing season 35.
Oh my God! How many? This is a wet dream for a 12-year-old Kevin. What? How many years did they give you guys extension? I know you guys signed another extension not too long ago.
For 35 and 36. So we're writing 35 now, and then we have season 36 after that. Which would take us to 2 years or so, 2 or 3 years from now. So who knows?
Wow.
Who knows after that?
It's amazing. I mean, that's the most impressive run in the history of television by far. Kevin Israel, what are you up to besides making another baby?
Well, I am 100% that bitch. And you can find out everything that I am doing besides being that bitch at kevinisrael.com. I got some good comedy coming up in the spring into the early summer. So come check me out and check out my album, The Struggle is Real, on iTunes and everywhere else you get audio stuff.
Since he is that bitch, check him playing jazz flute at his next set. That'll be a
jazz flute.
That'll be a jazz flute. That'll be a sight for sore eyes. KevinGootee.com, of course. GuttingTheSacredCow@gmail.com if you want to advertise with us. And hey, for all you new listeners out there, we love it when you write those 5-star ratings, 2 or 3 sentence reviews. God, I love screenshotting them Is that now a word in our lexicon? Screenshotting, or is it screen shooting? I'm still weighing on this. I don't know where I stand yet. Anyway, take a screenshot of the review. I sure do, and I put it on our socials. Much appreciated. Go out to all the socials and give us that like and follow. Por favor, TikTok, Twitter, of course, Facebook, Instagram, blah, 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 and like and subscribe on Facebook. Kevin Israel, Mike's no stranger to this game. Mike's gutted more than his fair share of cows. I think he's got enough to claim a herd as his under his belt. I think he's got enough there for a barbecue for Fast and the Furious Crew Part 10. So let's let Mike come out here and gut the sacred cow.
Well, where do I begin?
The beginning.
That's good. I will say, first of all, this is going to cover everything about this movie. Who the hell or fuck cares about elite prep schools? Nobody. Like, why are there so many books and movies about elite prep schools? Like, who they're called elite prep schools because like 1% of 1% go to them. Like, who gives a crap about it? I don't understand it. Why they keep doing these movies. There was one called The Emperor's Club with Kevin Kline. There was School Ties with Brendan Fraser. There was,
Toy Soldiers. How dare you forget that?
Right. Toy Soldiers. The only one I think I would say of all the movies that I like is Taps, because that ends with like Tom Cruise like killing people, shooting people out a window with a machine gun.
Oh, wait.
That has some
Sentimental Woman's fantastic.
Same thing. Oh no, come on.
I like Sentimental.
Oscar winning. Oh, I'll do that one next. The boys alive. They ought to burn this whole place to the ground.
Yes.
Anyway, who cares? And I would say this too. This is such a time capsule too of the period 1989. People talk a lot about. Maybe you saw this on the news recently, where Jennifer Aniston had to defend Friends because Friends was like amazingly white and there were hardly any black people on the show.
What? Yeah.
I would say that this movie makes Friends look like The Wire. Because there's like a million people in this movie. They're all white, super elite, whatever. It's all like the whitest movie of all time.
To be fair, and I agree, don't get me wrong, because I made note of that.
Yeah.
It is New England 1959. So
if
there's a time to get away with it, that was it.
But wasn't the girl that Josh Charles is into goes to a public high school, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I mean, there could have been somebody. I mean,
I agree. No, I agree.
There's a scene in the theater with like 150 people watching this play. Even the janitor could have been there. I don't know. Anybody. Anyway, so that's that. Okay, next point 3. The movie to me is so incredibly fake. It's so set up like it's so incredibly fake and phony, and like this binary choice of these, especially the Robert Sean Leonard, who's a very good actor, and then his father is a great, amazing actor, Kurtwood Smith, who I had a really happy opportunity to work with. He played a character on F is for Family. Wonderful guy. He was so good in like RoboCop, and
he was. I love RoboCop.
So, and of course, that '70s show. Anyway, he has to play such a cartooniest, like cardboard villain of a father, like. No son of mine is going to do extracurricular activity. It's to the point that spoiler alert, he drives the kid to kill himself because he wants to be an actor. He wants to be in a play. So he tells him he can't be in a play. He sneaks off and does it anyway. He finds out and he shows up. And then he basically, first he tells him he can't be in it. He finds out like the day before he can't be in a play. And he goes, son, you'll have to quit that play. And he's like, but father, I love acting. And he's like, you're going to go to medical school and be a doctor. I sacrificed for you. You can't do this. You're going to quit that play. And he goes, but father, the play is tomorrow. He says, it's tomorrow night. After that, I'll be done with it. And he's like, no, that's not good enough for me. You tell them now you're quitting. It's so crazy. And then he's so good in the play, by the standards of the movie. He does a good job. Everybody loves him. He's so happy. And then the father takes him home and basically shames him and then says, all right, son, that's it. Let's go to bed. And by the way, the key to the gun drawer is over here. It's so bad. But I would say this, like, from the moment I saw that happen in the beginning, where he tells him, like, quit the thing. He wanted to be in the school newspaper. or the school yearbook, I knew like, okay, this kid is doomed. This kid is doomed. And then as he gets more and more into the Dead Poet Society, and he's like, oh, I feel so happy. I feel so alive. It's like, this is exactly like every cop in every movie saying like, I'm only one day away from retirement, before he gets killed. So to me, it's super phony. That's phony. There's such phoniness later on too, where I'm tipping ahead a little bit with Robin Williams. There's a scene where Robin Williams does that kind of like John Wayne stuff, like, well, to be or not to be, that kind of thing. He's doing Shakespeare as John Wayne, which is, in my mind, incredibly lame. But anyway, then they had this shot of all the kids like literally like busting their asses laughing at him. They're like, oh. That's like those movies set in comedy clubs where you see like Punchline, where you see the Tom Hanks or Sally Field, who's not a good comedian, like absolutely killing, and they have to pay the extras to laugh like they're watching Richard Pryor. Anyway, I felt bad for Ethan Hawke and all those kids having to laugh and pretend like Robin Williams is making their split their sides with his reference to Marlon Brando doing Shakespeare. What else? The Robin Williams' character, not him personally, but like he is like this weird cult leader kind of guy. Like it's almost like he says like, call me yo captain. Like he's definitely encouraging them to idolize him in this weird way. It's not just about getting exposing the poetry, but he wants to be like, I mean, today we might call it grooming. Like he's sort of like getting them like whatever, like into him, and it's so weird. It's so, I find it creepy. And then what else? It builds this big ending where because of what happens, because Robert Sean Leonard kills himself because his dad wouldn't let him be in a play, which is kind of a dramatic act anyway. But and then it turns into like, we're going to drive this so-called Dead Poet Society out of school. And even the headmaster of the school, another amazing actor, Norman Lloyd, who was on St. Elsewhere, says like, we will root out this teacher trying to inspire students. Like it's such a phony choice. Anyway, so then all the kids are forced to recant and sign this letter, basically saying like, yeah, Mr. Keating, Robin Williams made us do this, and like if they don't sign it, they're gonna be expelled. So they all cave. Even Ethan Hawke, this very sensitive young guy, he does it too. And then he's leaving, like he's fired. Mm-hmm. Robin Williams is fired. He's completely fired, and he's leaving. And then they decide to do the right thing. Then they decide to stand up and say, "Oh, Captain, my cat," like the Spartacus moment. It would be like if they did the Spartacus moment after Spartacus was already crucified and dead. They're like, oh yeah, I'm Spartacus too. Like Spartacus is lying there. He's fucking dead. Oh yeah, I'm standing up for him right now. It's like, it's too late, guys. What else? Robin, like I said before, Robin Williams is so tame in this. He's not the Robin Williams that people liked. I'll say this about Robin Williams. When he first came around, I watched a little bit of Mork and Mindy. I was old enough to see that. And then his first special that was on like HBO or Showtime, it was called, I think it was called like Reality, What a Concept. It was like the name of his first album. Was unbelievable. I remember watching with a bunch of my friends and saying, oh my God, this guy is like the greatest comedian I've ever seen. He's incredible. He's so great. It's very tragic the way his life ended and everything. I'm sad about that. But even by this point, like his shtick was starting to wear thin, and so I felt like it was lame. The stuff he was doing, the John Wayne stuff was lame. The Marlon Brando stuff he was doing was lame. They should have just let him go with it. Go rip ass crazy, or not have him in it. Or even a better movie would have been if it had. But you mentioned Caddyshack, like Bill Murray, Meatballs, Bill Murray, or like somebody who could just really tear it up and not just be kind of gently inspiring. I don't know. I'm getting carried away here.
Right.
Such a good actors, like I said, Norman Lloyd, Kurtwood Smith, young Ethan Hawke, who, as a sidelight, I met him when he was much younger than this. I was in a play in New Jersey in 1983, and I was in college then, and he was a kid they recruited to be from the local town who was in this play, and I had a scene with him, and he was a very nice kid. He was he was like 11 years old, very, very nice kid. And then like 10 years later, whatever, I was like, holy shit, this kid's in the movies now. Anyway, and he's a fantastic actor, but he didn't have much to do in this. What is it? Right, I mentioned this. Robin Williams, right. Let him go crazy. I think I'm running out of stuff to say. Like I said, I'm getting to the end with Robin Williams, who had done some really good stuff. He kind of became like a parody of himself there with like doing all that stuff all the time, and like people used to imitate him doing that. Oh, hey, oh, like, oh, praise Jesus, whatever, like all that stuff. He was just at the beginning of that here. I don't know what to think about him in this, because he did some good stuff, but he didn't do enough good stuff, or they should have let him really go crazy. Like his best movie in a way is Aladdin, where he just has to be a voice of the
Without a
genie.
doubt.
Oh yeah.
Although that's full of stuff now. Like if you watch it now, I'm sure you'd be like, what is he doing? Like he's doing Arsenio.
Yeah, you couldn't get away with that.
Arsenio Hall. He's doing William F. Buckley. It's like that's some references that people would not get right now.
I mean, he went all
Anyway.
he went all full, and then that's what I guess made Mrs. Doubtfire work, because he went all batshit, as well as Patch Adams were two more that they really took the governors off of him and let him go full coked out Robin.
Anyway, so it all adds up to me like a big ball of nothing in a way. I found it a little boring, mostly dull, mostly who cares. And I read some reviews. Like I was looking through this, like I am Rotten Tomato reviews. A lot of the time were like, okay, I think if you did like a sequel like years later, like every single one of them is like, or voting for Nixon, whatever. Like he ultimately didn't do anything except make one kid kill himself. That was all the effect he had on these kids, I believe, was drive one kid to kill himself. So that's my take.
Give me the old 1 to 10, Mike.
Well, I'll be charitable and say 5, but
You don't have to be charitable. I want you to be real.
all right, 4.
Why is it when I ask for real, Kevin Israel, they always feel like I'm bullying them? I go, all right, fine. It's always 1 point lower. Because you're like, oh, it'll be nice.
I don't want Gootee to think I'm a rating bussy.
It's like I know you feel that way. You're just like, oh, I'll be nice. No, don't be nice. Be real. You came on here because you hate it. So be real.
He's dead. He won't care.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, someone's talking behind my back. I can hear behind the grave. Oh. There you go. Another shitty Robin Williams impression. See, I'm not good at those two impressions. I should just. Kevin Israel, go ahead, pal. Roll up those white sleeves and hit us with the wisdom that we all love.
So I first of all, Mike hit almost all of my points, so that's always a pain in the ass. But I think we can all agree that when a movie starts and it's in an all boys preparatory school, nothing good is going to happen. Like nothing, like nobody's ever seen like, those kids like reluctantly walking into one of those castle looking buildings and been like, this is going to end up good for them. I feel like unless your school teaches defense against the dark arts and potions, it's probably going bad for you.
Fucking say that shit. Shit.
Yes.
Well done.
So yeah, it's just, but it's also for I didn't go to a private school. I never had that experience. I don't think I'd even know anybody that went to a private school like that. So for me, it's almost like a like a fantasy land. Like this doesn't actually it can't actually be like that, but I know it does. So seeing that is a strange thing. I also think, and I understand why it happens, but the idea of an all boys school is just such a terrible idea. Mm-hmm. Like nothing good is going to come out from taking guys at their most hormone-ridden, worst decision-making point in their life and saying, you can't have any girls around you. Like, do you know that you go through that school with a black light? You should probably glows for miles. You could see it. That's just hard. They even made the joke of the movie at some point, and they're about like, give us something to do besides beating off. And I was like, that was the most honest point in this movie. Right. All these kids are just jerking off constantly.
You're so right. I mean, their walls must be like fucking bleach white without the black lights. I mean, it's got to be the best Jackson Pollock painting that no one's ever seen.
Like they whipped out that picture of that lady with those mammoth boobs.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, good for you, ma'am. Whoever you are, you're probably dead. But geez, oh natural. I was just, I watched it with my wife, and I just looked at her and I was like, you got to give credit where credit is due. Those things are fantastic.
Those aren't boobs. Those aren't boobs. I call them clackers. Yeah. They clack when she's getting.
But they didn't even look. They weren't like super sad. They were just. Those were impressive.
Yeah, anyhow, they were just very large.
It's 1959. You're in an all boys school, and somebody whips out that poster, and they're all just like, ah, and then he just puts it away. I would have been like, bro,
yeah, exactly.
give me that picture. I'm going in the back of the cave. I'll be back in 13 seconds.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, and now I'm going to read this poem by Robert Frost.
Yeah.
Like, and now I'm going to play saxophone.
It's hard to read this poem through my massive erection. All the blood has left my head.
My poem would have been, "Oh boner, my boner."
It hurts so bad.
Because we all wore corduroys and had boners as kids, and that shit hurts.
But that literally, that's all I could think every time. Like, it's just such a bad idea. Just all boys schools are just all girls school. I can understand. I can really understand because guys are dangerous. Like, especially as teenagers, I would want my daughter kept away from a boy. But as a father of a son, I want my son around as many girls as possible because he's gonna go crazy otherwise. Like, it's just anyway. Okay, moving on from that. I do have a soft place in my heart for coming of age movies. I don't know why. And it's funny that you said a separate piece, Mike, because that that I haven't thought about that book fucking 30 years probably. And maybe that is why this movie kind of sticks out to me. But you're really right that this was a very watered down Robin Williams, and I hadn't even really thought about it, but it feels like he wanted to be the character from Good Will Hunting. But the script didn't really give him that chance to have a well-rounded, fully developed character. Yeah. And the scene where he's in this office with the picture of his girlfriend, I also thought, like, wow, they've given this guy no backstory. He came from England. He's taught at some fancy school in England. He came here for some unexplained reason. He left his girlfriend in England. And that's it. That's all you know, that he went to school. He went to the school. He was successful, whatever. But you don't know anything else about this guy other than he, apparently he likes to be around all boys, which now seems like a really weird decision.
Well, I kept thinking they were going to say that, like, again, I rewatched it again, for the first time in 30 whatever years. But like, I thought they were going to say, like, because he started the Dead Poets Society, 10 years earlier. And I thought it was going to be, why did they stop it? Maybe because someone died, or I thought there was something about that. There's so much that they could have done about him. It literally was just like this cardboard, inspiring, nice guy. I wondered if, like, I'm going to use a weird comparison. When all this crazy George Santos stuff came out, and so everyone said, "Oh my God, John Lovitz," we just mentioned earlier, should play him like on Saturday Night Live, because he played like the liar character on the Saturday Night Live in the 80s. And so, like, then they did bring him on Jimmy Fallon, and they're like, here he is, George Santos, right? And for whatever reason, he didn't do any of the things that he used to do when he was a famous liar guy. He didn't go like, yeah, that's it. That's a ticket.
That's the ticket.
He just did like George Santos stuff, which is fine. But it's like, if you're getting Lovitz in there, you got to get at least one that's a ticket, or one like Morgan Fairchild. Yeah, my wife. So, like, I pictured like them like having oh my God, Lovitz is coming in, and he's like, no, I don't do that stuff anymore. Like, why the hell are you
not even
like with Robin?
See, I was I love all those too, but I was gonna say, how about the critic? It stinks.
Yeah, or even that. Yeah, sure. So I'm picturing like Robin Williams. Oh my God, we got Robin Williams. He was just on Good Morning Vietnam, where he's so crazy. He's gonna do some crazy shit here, and he just does like the lamest like John Wayne thing. It's like,
I'm not that guy anymore.
I don't do that. I don't do that guy.
Yeah, he was too busy. He was too busy getting ready for What Dreams May Come of Him, Bicentennial Man, to be that serious actor. Those
years ago,
the one where he was a kid, Jack.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I did. It was not good.
That was a crazy one. Anyway,
I'm gonna show off for a moment, Mike. I know you've been writing for The Simpsons for a long time, one of the most successful TV shows. But earlier in my comedy career, I opened for J.J. Walker. I know.
Oh, wow!
I'm trying to one up you. And you can't say dynamite to him, and you can't ask him to say it. It's like in his writer, and he gets mad even at fans who come over and are like, dynamite. He's like, nah, man, nah. And he gets pissed, and it's like, dude, that's your one thing. That's your meal ticket. And if that gets you more meals, just keep saying it. Like,
Wow.
What are you hanging your hat on besides dynamite?
That's like going to Peter North and not expecting them to blow a massive load out.
Right. I came here to see rockets.
Yeah. A fire hydrant. Let's go.
Can Jimmy Walker go like TNT or anything like that? He just can't even say dynamite.
Nuclear bomb.
What happens if he goes to an AC/DC concert? He's going to have to break his own rule of thumb when they sing TNT dynamite.
Oh, that's true. I don't know.
He has a exclusion for that in the contract. Anyway, back to this movie. So it was funny because I had my whole argument was going to be based off the fact that this movie was originally a book, which it is not. But I think my argument still holds water in that this movie feels like it was based off a book that they didn't translate completely, because a lot of times books have so more story and so much more development of these characters. Like Ethan Hawke's character felt like I thought Ethan Hawke's character, and I saw this movie once before. I thought his character was going to be the main character, and I didn't remember. I didn't remember all of it.
Yeah, they keep setting up like he's the main character.
And they talk about his brother, who I guess died in the war or whatever, and he's barely in the movie. Like there's and then at one point, like you're supposed to see that he's coming out of his shell and he's becoming this, he's a member of the Dead Poet Society. And at one point they show him and he's got his hair like kind of slicked back and he looks like he's becoming one of them. But they did nothing with that. They did nothing. And then they just bring his parents back in and he becomes kind of the same mealy-mouthed kid that he was when he started off, who got the stupid desk set, whatever.
Right. True.
And each of these characters kind of had this, like, I kind of want to know more about, like the kid who was into the girl, he got the most story development around him. And his story ended up being kind of the most preposterous because I guess the writer doesn't know how teenage girls are, but they're not nice. They're not, and they're not an especially forgiving or they don't like this character in this movie. Like he went and he read a poem to him. And I always love in movies and in TV shows when there's a scene about to happen and then it's like a pivotal scene, like something big's going to happen. And then they suddenly cut off the scene and they go to what happens, an hour later. And it's like, yeah, but how did he get out of that situation? Like he read it and then the teacher was there. How do you get out of the school? Like there was a lot that had to happen for him to just show back up. But the lazy writing was he's just having bad. He's just going to tell him that he read the poem. Yeah. So he read the poem to this girl, embarrassed her. And a teenage girl went home and thought about it and was like, you know what? That guy I want to go talk to that guy. And then she went to the school and like that doesn't happen.
Yeah. I was just going to say it already, Kevin. Just say it, because I was going to say it.
And by the way, he was getting really close to taking advantage of an unconscious girl.
Motherfucker, it's in here again.
Right.
Like that was definitely. I mean, he wasn't pulling his pants down, but it wasn't going full Bill Cosby. But he was definitely thinking about the Jell-O pudding pop.
Yeah.
So. Look, I could go on. I do still have a soft place in my heart for this movie. I think there is some value to it. I think Robin Williams. I always like Robin Williams, and I think he does a pretty good job. I don't think I wanted him to be the super cartoony Aladdin character. I do feel like there was a lot of story here that they didn't touch on, and that there were things that they wanted to do. Like you got the feeling that when he wrote this movie, he's like, you know what I want? I want to talk about a kid whose father's such a bad guy, he drives him to suicide. And I want to talk about a kid who meets a girl that he doesn't really have a chance with. And I want to talk about this teacher who's going to inspire all. And then he was just kind of like, and so here's the movie. And it wasn't like, let's give these characters a little more life and a little more feeling. So I don't hate this movie. I don't think I would ever speak badly of the movie, but I also don't see like me being like, hey, Gootee, fucking Dead Poet Society. Let's watch it. Like I've never seen this movie on cable and been like, I need to. This isn't a remote test movie. It's not super quotable. I think it's a good school movie. I feel like this is a good movie to show at school when you have a day and you just want like to get the kids to think about poetry or literature in a different way, because it does provide some of that, but it gives you an sort of insight into why you shouldn't send your kids to sleep boarding private elite schools and let them grow up into neo-Nazis. So yeah,
It also feels to me like that. Oh, sorry, Kevin. Let me cut you off.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm saying it also feels to me like I'd love to know if that book, that textbook that they read the first chapter of, with that chart about how to chart poetry like it's math, if that was a real thing. It seems like it was a made up thing to be like the lamest, most ridiculous poetry book of all time.
Like Tobin's Spirit Guide in Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it seems like it can't be a real thing.
He was breaking it down how to calculate whip or XFib, Mike. Baseball reference. I thought okay. All right.
Robert Frost was the most wins above replacement of all poets.
There you go.
So look, in the end,
connection here.
Yeah,
I'm
probably
saying it's like the Bill James of poetry, like Robert Frost.
Yeah, the Bill James, Robert Frosting. I was like, oh, there you go, Bill James. Good reference for the father of rotisserie baseball, guys. Let's just clean it up there. Israel, go ahead, finish your thought.
So look, in the end, I probably said too much about this movie than I really warranted because I was planning on going. Mike said everything. I have nothing left to say. This movie's to quote a great Kevin Gootee. It's fine. It neither titillated me nor did I mean, and the suicide scene definitely got me. Although my one last point: how did somebody shoot himself with a gun in a house that you're in, and you wake up and go, "What was that?"
Oh, you piece of shit!
What was that?
Oh, he's killing me on my notes.
A broom fell over in my closet downstairs the other night, and I almost shit my pants. If somebody shot a gun, I don't care if it was a little 38. I would be calling the cops, not like, "What's going on? I'm gonna sneak." Like, it's a gun, and your gun. You know what a gun sounds like. Like he's like, "What was?" I know what it is. I just told my son he's going to military school. He killed himself. That's what that was. Anyhow, this movie, I was going to give it a 5.5. After listening to Mike's points, I give it a 5.
Ooh, dropping a Coco score. All right, good. Mike's on the track so far. These notes, what's left of them, of course, sponsored by guttingthesacredcow.com. This sweet-ass t-shirt like that. Yeah, buddy. Get all that. Go over there. Hat, mugs, whatever you need. It's there. Of course, GTSC Podcast on Twitter. And again, leave those 5-star rating, 2 or 3 sentence reviews on your podcast platform of choice. It does help. And by the way, Chat GPT says this is a fantastic podcast. Oh, you don't believe me? Go on the Twitter page. I posted it. Notes. We open with bagpipes in the church, and god damn it, there is no instrument I hate more than bagpipes. I hate people that pretend to like bagpipes. You don't have bagpipe songs on your phone, do you? No. You think you like them on St. Patrick's Day because you're trying to bang a girl from Staten Island who's wearing a green cat in the hat, who's been shotgunning green beer since 5 a.m. That's why you're pretending to like fucking bagpipes. No one likes it. Stop it.
Wow.
I hate the worst. Holy shit, Clarence Boddicker from RoboCop's in this. I'm just waiting for him to go in his son's dorm room when his friends are hanging out, walk in and say, "Bitches, leave." I love that quote. God, one of the top 10 villains in movie history. Catch me outside.
Wow.
Anytime 5 guys are in a dorm room with a closed door, safely assume a circle jerk is afoot. And I believe Ethan Hawke would be a fantastic pivot man. Is it me, or are you two lads also weirded out? He called his dad father the entire time.
Yeah.
You know what? I skipped that note. Anytime I got somebody, first of all, I don't know anybody who calls their dad father.
Never.
But in a movie, anytime a person calls their dad father, there's some type of abusive relationship.
100%. Brainwashing at the least. Molestation, most likely.
Jesus.
Watch. I didn't say physical, could have been mental. The prospect of living at a boarding school with all dudes seems as scintillating as developing a fistula while running at a marathon.
I think that might have been the only time fistula was said on a podcast.
Yeah, really?
We'll have to research that.
I love throwing curveballs at you guys, some here and there, no matter how gross they can be sometimes. This is how white this film is. Robin Williams is holding class outside, and he's considered an outlaw for doing so. It's amazing that no one told Robin Williams to shut the fuck up when he's whispering "Carpe Diem" in front of the photos. The only thing missing from this abortive teaching method was him turning the chair around, a la Michelle Pfeiffer in Dangerous Minds, to talk to his students. Thank you. These dorks, and I'm going to get to these clowns. These dorks keep asking each other to do study groups every 5 to 10 minutes, and especially while they're all in the shower together. Something is afoot here, kids.
You know, Kev.
Yeah,
a study group.
I kept thinking it was going to be, we're doing study group, which means like let's all get
smoking weed. Yeah, exactly.
But it really was a study group.
Knox Overstreet is the name of a governor who would be on at least 4 flight manifests to Epstein Island. Got Mike on that one. I am a man of many passions, as you've listened for over 180 episodes. I have never taken a knee for anything, and I sure as shit would not bat an eye for poetry, for Christ's sakes. This film is such white people fuckery. This film idea had to be conceived in either a Bob's Big Boy or in a vineyard with people wearing crisscrossed sweaters over their shoulders. I'll put it like this in Jersey speak. These are the people who live and die at the top of the hill at the Hunt.
The Hunt.
See? From Jersey, you laugh. If you're not, Google.
Nah, everybody's be like, "What the fuck's the Hunt?"
Yeah. This film has the same relatability for me as shotgunning Natty Lights while sitting front row of a Larry the Cable Guy show. Guys, I'm just trying to say, I'm not buying dudes sneaking off to do poetry and plays behind their parents' back as viable elements of a film of dudes at boarding school. Get into it, you got it. The ginger of this motley crew looks like Buzz from Home Alone without the homicidal tendencies.
Although he's a bad guy.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Well, you slow your roll, Mike. I'm getting there. I got him covered. Finally, minute 39, and something happens in that cave that actually happens in real life. Kevin Israel called it. The dude whips out a porno mag. See, younger listeners, a porno mag was one of 2 major forms of currency amongst younger dudes while not having to share links on your phone to see naked women.
Good old days.
Wait, this is 1959, but the one kid starts rapping in the cave.
I had that written down and I didn't say it. God damn it. I said I was going to say how we culturally appropriate.
All right, so I was wrong. The movie isn't all white.
Yeah. Guys, rap didn't come around for at least 20 more years. Sugar Hill Gang. He's rapping in the cave. I asked my wife, I threw my yellow legal pad in the air and go, we'll see, there you go.
Well done.
Thank you. I would have loved to see Michelle Pfeiffer from Dangerous Minds try and do these ruses on her kids in the films. Jumping on the desk saying, "Oh, Captain, my Captain," would have gotten a switchblade tossed her way. Now, the students in the cave are playing grab ass while playing the piccolo and bongos. Even for the whitest of white people, which I'll take a bow for that sometimes, this is a cauldron of horse shit with a double helping of that doesn't happen. Next up, now they've managed to combine 2 things that bore the piss out of me. Reciting poetry and kicking soccer balls. Nope and nope. And then they pick Robin Williams up like he just scored the game winner in Lake Placid against the Russians. Shut the fuck up.
I got to tell you, I think he was just angling for that one moment when all these boys picked him up and grabbed him about the legs and trunk, if you know what I mean.
Loud and clear, Mike. Forging a note is something every kid has done, but Christ on a cross, lying about getting a role in a play, I have completely tapped out on any semblance of reality that this film is trying to paint. I'll believe furry little bears can take down massive armored attack vehicles before I buy into these fruitcake's sassy adventures. Long way to go for an Ewok joke. I hope it got there. What did you guys forge notes for? I never forged a note. I just signed off on F papers I got. What did you guys ever sign?
Exactly what I forged a note for. I
Yeah.
forged my mom's signature.
I never once forged a note. I was such a good kid in every way.
Nerd.
From the streets of South Plainfield, Mike.
That's right. That's what we do it down in the 07080, baby. We obey our parents.
I was just down there yesterday for my wife's family Easter party. How cute.
Oh, very nice.
Robin Williams just made poetry class a level 1 improv class by having Ethan Hawke freestyle his poem. Now, let's just hope he does not start charging $4,000 a class and get handsy with any female improv students.
Inside baseball.
That is. Parents that give their kid a desk set for their birthday means one thing to me. That kid was adopted. What a lazy, shitty birthday gift. Hey, ladies, would you like to come hang out with a bunch of dudes in a cave barely on school grounds far from any road? What are we doing there? Read poetry? No. That's not code for raping. I'm not cool with that. You want to borrow my lipstick? For what? You want to paint your face like an American Indian? What? You think you'll get a steak in a casino in about 30 years? And who the hell is Elizabeth Warren anyway? The Skulls, the movie The Skulls, has more realism than this film.
This is probably the only time the movie The Skulls was referenced on a podcast.
You know
Josh
what?
Jackson, that son of a bitch.
And Paul Walker and Coach Craig T. Nelson.
Now I got to go. Now, you know what? Now I want to go back and watch that movie.
You know what? It's not that bad.
No, I'm sure it's not. I just remember they all got cool sports cars.
Yeah. And bitches for a PG-13 film. Yeah. Okay. Now, next thing. The second aspect of realism in this film is that one guy gets drunk and does his best Joe Biden impression by playing with the girl's hair, kisses her, and then gets beat up for doing so.
Yeah.
The headmaster. Oh, now, as a tactician from a fraternity, he clearly shows piss poor pledge paddle technique. That is a lot of alliteration. Guys, he's not using any hip torque. His launch angle is way off. And lastly, he is not snapping his wrist to finish it off. Yeah, you can definitely tell that he was definitely a Kappa Delta Rho member of a fraternity. That was Israel's fraternity. You thought I forgot.
You knew that?
You told me that in this very episode. Not this episode, another episode. You told me that. And
I should have gotten you something for your birthday. I'm sorry.
Finally, we get some gravitas in this film. The real scene where Robin Williams and the kid who wants to be in the play, they have a real heart-to-heart moment. It only took an hour and 20 minutes. If I bragged to my friends on how I finally read a poem to a girl I liked, I would be mercilessly mocked while someone rubbed a pumice stone on my gums. See? This film should be sued for gross malpractice instructing boys how to talk to women. Show up at her school while reading a poem after you got drunk and kissed her and played with her hair and then got lit up by her boyfriend. And presto, you get the girl. This film and at least 3 of John Hughes' films with the quote-unquote nerd getting the girl need to have disclaimers like some Disney cartoons and movies in the Disney network now, where the opening credits roll and it should say, that doesn't happen. John Hughes caused a lot of heartache in young Kevin's life trying to talk to women. Go, well, if it worked for John Cryer, it could work for me. By the way, the Mandela effect, the Mandela effect was prevalent. I'm going to brush up my grammar. The Mandela effect, very prevalent, because I too, Mike, thought that this was an Ethan Hawke story, not an ensemble story. I thought it was his whole tale.
I bet they cut some stuff out. I can't imagine. There's some stuff on the editing room floor.
Why wait? Why would you wait to tell your dad the day before a play? If you want him to show up, tell him a few days in advance, because you never know. You may have to go out of town for a trip. If you're scared to death about him, saying no, don't fucking tell him. By the way, this dad is more communist Russia than Nikolai Volkov. It's a toss-up on who was more of a motherfucker of a character played by Kurtwood Smith, Neil's dad or Clarence Boddicker. Everyone over the age of 50 in movies wears full pajama shirt and pants with a nightcap. Does anyone actually wear them? I wore onesies with the footies in the bottom until I was, I don't know, 10. Then it was a t-shirt.
The last year.
Yeah. But those footies stunk to high heaven after
Gotta
about
have the butt
2 months.
flap.
Yeah. The poop hole thing. Yeah, it's hilarious. It's always been t-shirt and bed shorts, guys. Who wears full pajamas anymore? And the nightcap alone with the little ball, the little fuzzy ball at the end.
Yeah.
Never know anyone to do that. I have seen baggage come in from Newark Airport faster than it took the scene for Neil to kill himself to unfold.
Get on with it.
God, if you couldn't see that coming, kids, insert a shitty, hacky Stevie Wonder blind joke. I don't know. I'm not going to do that. And surprise, the ginger is the rat. Soulless albinos. Are you surprised? I'm not. Now, and I know this is before the fact, but now this is the equivalent of Rudy, the film, where they turn their jerseys in so that Rudy can play in the final game. But in this version, they all jump on their desk, the "Oh, Captain, my Captain" in solidarity. But guess what? That's like wearing a condom after she's had the baby, dummies. It's too late. By the way, Rudy.
This would be like if they all turned their jerseys in after the game.
Yeah. Because sorry, Rudy, we had to play. But Rudy had much more charisma and charm banked in this film. Now, let me get this straight, and this is where Kevin Israel is going to come right in here with this lawyer hat. They fire Robin Williams because he inspired a bunch of dorks to read poetry, who then went on their own volition to form a group in a cave off school grounds. He indirectly inspired a guy to commit a first-degree sexual assault and then stalk her. Then add him doing a mini seance in front of a trophy case to bring the spirit of a bunch of more vanilla dorks who love poetry to life in the classroom. And what a rogue teacher he is, having the class outside. What a beatnik. Go back to in there, you hippie. Christ almighty. Kevin Israel, how much of a lawsuit can Robin Williams' character bring if that was in today's times?
Yeah, well, depending on his employment agreement, and he wasn't an at-will employee, which I'm sure he wasn't with a school like that. And they probably have some kind of union for the teachers. He's got a decent grounds for a lawsuit. Now, 1959, couldn't tell you. Today, he'd win.
I get that this is a Disney film via Touchstone, and I get this is a PG-rated film. What I don't get is there is zero realism, except for those two small examples. I'll just round down to zero. Zero realism in this film. Every boarding school kid I knew a few, had at least one lurid tale of drug abuse, sex problems, blackmail, everything. Even the most nerdy English lit kids aren't doing anything remotely close what transpired in this film. I know I'm an immense cynic, but this film was wrought with complete disbelief on all the goings on of this film. Was Robin Williams all that inspiring here, guys? No. He gave them a little bit of a nudge to think for themselves. But was that enough of a spark to warrant this rally cry? How many key scenes is Robin Williams in this film? 4 to 6? Maybe.
Yeah.
And we're all going to hoist this film on our shoulders and say, this is a great film. My wife was quoting this film as I was watching it to throw her out. I go, who's remembering this film? No one. You're all remembering a few key scenes. Carpe Diem, Captain, my Captain. No one is telling you any other scenes that stood out to them. That's it. The real story is the boarding school kids, not Robin Williams, and none of these characters are memorable. That is the problem. This is viciously predictable and formulaic. Way, way too much horse shit for me to overlook. And this was way too hokey. I never liked it as a kid. I don't like it as an adult. Robin Williams played it right with enough humor. I think they could have let him go a little more. But no, not all, like I said before, Patch Adams / Mrs. Doubtfire. The litmus test again. What else do you like besides the "Oh, Captain, my Captain," which is the last 35 seconds of this film? None. It's not quotable. There are no memorable scenes. People don't rewatch this film. I'll wager they haven't watched this in a long ass time. 3 out of 10. Fuck this film.
Wow. All right.
I hate it. Oh, I hate it. It's so when you said that one, Mike, I go, oh no. That's why I kind of pushed you to this one. I go, let me get back on it. Well, you know what's going to happen next here, kids. Critics 5-star reviews. An achingly beautiful story of high school boys, wrong, who give up guards of their masculinity and family expectations to believe in something beautiful and real. What? I found it inspiring in 1989, but reviewing in 2021, I come to see it as a poster child or movie poster for the insidious, creeping way Hollywood helped sneak communism, Trojan horse-wise, into the American movies.
Wow.
That's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
I can't help but melt underneath this movie. It chisels away the cynic and gets at the sap. A bundle of growing pain blues, flamboyant declarations of self, and doomsday faculty foul-ups, and it cooks when delivered in big batches of adolescent passion. Who wrote this? Gordon Ramsay? Jesus.
Batches of adolescent passion sounds like something else.
This Google that, you're on a watch list, I promise you. Critics 1-star reviews. We are never privy to Keating's personal life. Someone got it right there. We don't know anything about this guy except, like you'd said, Mike, she's in London and he's here. That's it. Nor do we grasp why such a talented individual is devoted to pedagogy. I had to Google that word, be honest. And from the looks of it, you guys do too.
Google that, you'll be on a watch list too.
Bingo.
Yeah, I know what it means.
The moral divisions set up by characters are childishly overdrawn, and worst of all, the behavior shown by the boys and adults frequently reeks of falsity and contrivance. Yahtzee. It's a tearjerker where the tears come from not the heart, but from the aching mind. We cry not because of the sad situations, but because of its ludicrous attempts at being sad. Not the worst of countless recent movies about kids and hidebound, authoritarian older people. It may, however, be the most shameless in its attempt to pander to an adolescent audience. That's spot on.
That's where your 200 million came from.
Amazon 5-star reviews. This movie is amazing, the lessons you get from it, and just everything. They don't make movies like this anymore, well thought out, and everything, that this is real things. Life in this world happen, and some people have no idea. We live in a world that when we are born in society and our parents pretty much hand us a book of how life should be, that we go to life, to college, become a doctor, make money, a guy shouldn't be acting or should doing in this, etc., etc. Signed, Mike Bichetti. Mike's a comic here who refuses to use punctuation on his Facebook post. It's one large run-on sentence. That's a joke for 8. It's got everything. Spectacular autumn scenery, secret clubs and societies, gothic architecture, ideas of original / free thought, studying in drafty dorm rooms or dusty library stacks. Yes! Signed, Marv Albert. I mean...
Really?
Who's watching a movie for architecture or dusty library stacks?
I don't know.
I swear I cried like 10 times in less than a 20-minute span. Dead emoji. But it was worth it. Smiley face, thumbs up emoji. Slay what you want to slay.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Signed, Dame Duty Gents. Oh, well, she's on to something. She is on to something here. Okay. Students and educators who advocate for emancipatory education and global education that defy the ingrained, embedded, yet paradoxical ideation of American education that perpetuates the concept of practice and consumer-driven society mentality, which is driven as the one where the members spend the money that they do not own, that do not need, or ultimately destroys the only planet where humans must live. Much watched Dead Poet Society. It provides a different lens from all which we must view the real essence of whys and hows of living our life. Also, all radical Muslims must watch this film.
Wow.
Signed Colonel Nathan Jessup, Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah, really.
Amazon 5-star reviews. The teacher gives the boy a cool lesson, but they are too immature to fully appreciate it. Some don't have a sense of loyalty. Too bad the boys couldn't keep it together instead of being wannabe followers. Didn't like the movie fundamentally. Well, someone missed the point here, kids. Big time. I love Robin Williams, but this film has more sap than a 100-foot pine. The story is contrived to a degree that made me think I had seriously missed something. Guys, aren't old trees lacking in sap?
It's true.
We caught someone trying to create a colloquialism, but Border Patrol stopped in and stuck this one from being right into the lexicon, guys. Last one. Oh, my. I had never watched this, and after my wife and I were at the site of the film for a rowing regatta, decided on a whim to do so. What a pretentious, tedious disaster of a film. Faux profundity, and posturing. Couldn't make it to the end. Hey, guys, if you ever see me at a rowing regatta, know this. I have been taken against my will, or someone has taken that neuralizer from Men in Black and erased my memory, and also erased any filter I have for wasting time. Kevin Israel, did Mike Price got the sacred cow?
Well, he got me to drop my score by half a point, so I'd say hell yeah, he did.
Can't argue
well
anymore.
Done, Mike. Once again.
All right, 5 for 5.
No, JFK didn't get it. 4 for 5. Well done, Mike.
Oh, all right. Don't get me started on JFK again. That's right. Right.
Guys, it's been a hoot, Nanny. Mike Price, love you to death. Kevin Israel, it's always a pleasure
Thank
having
you.
you jump on here. We'll see everybody next time. Take care.